Hello, everyone. We will be beginning in a few minutes to allow everyone to join the YouTube Live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Membership Growth and Retention webinar.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight for the webinar. As Kyoko already alluded to, this webinar will consist of both tips for membership growth and retention. Please make sure to stay to the end for a Q&A session.
Hey, Pacific Northwest. My name is Kyoko Hall, and I'm currently serving as your Membership Growth and Reactivation Committee Chair, in addition to being Lieutenant Governor for Division 33. Go Krakens!
My name is Ingrid Redford, and I'm currently serving as your District Governor, and I'm from Division 38.
Now we'll be moving on to our first section, Membership Growth, where we'll be sharing various tips for your club. All right, let's get into it. First, let's take a look at membership goals. This is a picture from a section of the membership goal chart in which the Membership Growth and Reactivation Committee made personalized goals for every club in the Pacific Northwest. As you can see, the division is listed along with each club in that division and their membership count since 2016. The purple column shows the membership goal that we have set for this term based on your club's growth trend over the past few years. We will be updating this to track your progress as well. Also, if your club meets your membership goal, you'll be recognized at DCON. We have 3 big categories that clubs can win. They are largest member increase as a percentage from the year prior, reaching club goal first, and highest club membership count on November 1st. These winners will be called up on stage at DCON to be given a certificate, and their officer board will be given Key Club or Thirst Project merchandise. Additionally, the first division to reach their divisional membership goal will be rewarded with a pizza or ice cream at DCM of the Lieutenant Governor's choice. Also, as you can see, the Pacific Northwest goal for the 2018-2019 term is 14,000 members.
The beginning of the school year is one of the best times for membership recruitment. Remember, recruitment stems from outreach. Various ways of promotion include word of mouth, promotional materials, social media, school announcements, and teacher emails. First is word of mouth. This is one-on-one communication. A simple way to first achieve this is by asking your officer board to reach out to 10 to 15 underclassmen or non-members and invite them to your first meeting. Then ask each member to invite at least 5 members to your club. This may seem like a simple method, though if done correctly, it can be extremely effective. The next 2 points, promotional materials and social media, go hand in hand. Promotional materials can consist of posters, flyers, and graphics. Unlike emails or other methods of communication, promotional materials should be straight to the point. Things to include would be the name of your club, Key Club, the location you meet at, and the time of your meeting. The purpose of promotional materials is to quickly catch the viewer's attention. Then you can utilize the caption to provide more information. Next are school announcements. Each school does announcements differently. Some schools do announcements over the intercom system, others film a video, and some do announcements through newspapers or bulletins. All you need to do is simply contact the group in charge of announcements. This may be a specific class, ASB, or your school's main office, and ask them if they could include an announcement about your club's next event. Lastly would be teacher emails. First, start with drafting an email with your advisor that explains what Key Club is about and the time and location that your club meets at. Next, ask your advisor to send this out to all faculty members and encourage them to share it with their first period class. Now that I went over how you can promote your club, I will now be discussing what you should promote. One of the most essential aspects of promotion is the different benefits of Key Club. Keep in mind that people are attracted to different things. You should focus on promoting primarily service. However, you can also think about promoting the leadership aspects of Key Club, the impact you make on your community, and the connections that you can make through the club, divisional, district, and international levels.
Last year, the committee surveyed presidents whose clubs significantly grew. We gathered up some of the most powerful quotes to share with you here. These are real examples of what helped clubs grow, so we'd recommend you carefully consider what they are saying. The first quote is, "We targeted members and invited them to events that aligned with their interests. For example, athletes were invited to be a part of volunteering for Special Olympics." This was said by a president in Division 9. As you can see, this relates to Ingrid's last point about focusing on what to promote. You can keep members interested by providing them with service projects that relate to their interests. Next, when sharing upcoming events with members, be mindful of what times the shifts are. Are they too early, too late? Where are they located? Are they too far? And what type of perks do the members get for volunteering? T-shirt, chocolate, snacks, free admission into a cool event, etc. This was said by a president in Division 28. Again, you should tailor the service events to be convenient for your members. Try to plan them in a convenient time and place.
On the screen, we have 2 flyers that you may utilize to promote your club. The first flyer includes 10 reasons why you should join Key Club, and the next includes basic information about Key Club, such as our membership count, in addition to district and international information. You are free to utilize either of these flyers, and I highly encourage you to share these graphics over social media or to print them out and hang them up around your school.
Next, one thing we cannot emphasize enough is personal invitations. Essentially, print out a bunch of personal invitations to Key Club and pass them out around your school. The invitation could say when and where meetings are and the perks of being in Key Club. Also, make sure to tape candy to the invitation. The benefits of personal invitations are simple. After talking with and making a connection with someone, they are more likely to remember Key Club and go to your meeting. We would recommend targeting freshmen since they're the most willing and excited to join clubs, but by no means should you limit yourself just to that. While you're passing out the invitations, make sure to be friendly and show your passion for Key Club. Spark up a conversation. You want them to be curious and ask questions about Key Club. For your convenience, we have pre-made invitations in our membership growth and retention toolkit for you to print and use. On the right, here are some examples of our personal invitations.
Promotion is the first step for reaching your membership goal, though membership retention is just as important, if not more important, as promotion. With that being said, we will now be moving on to tips for membership retention.
The main thing we would emphasize for clubs meetings is avoiding too much repetition. When clubs fall in the same routine for every meeting, members get bored. So be sure to keep a good mix of what you do during your meetings. You could play games such as Key Club Kahoot, invite a Kiwanian or service partner to come and talk, do community service like cleaning up trash around your school, or even hold a mini leadership development workshop. Whatever you do during your meetings, make sure it's what your members want to do. The best way to figure this out is by asking them what they want to get out of meetings. Do they want more service, more games, more food? You can hand out a paper survey or a Google form. After all, meetings are for the members. Have them help you decide the best way to spend their Key Club meeting.
Next are tips for meetings. Having an effective meeting stems from being organized. Prior to your meeting, you should create a clear agenda for what you will be doing and or discussing. This agenda should be created at least 3 days prior to the meeting and be shared with all officers. A simple way of doing this is to schedule officer meetings to take place 4 or 5 days prior to your meeting to plan and create the agenda. Next, you should make sure that all officers are in attendance. It is fine for an officer to miss 1 or 2 meetings. However, they should be at a majority of them. With that being said, make sure to utilize your officers at your meetings. For example, your secretary should be responsible for taking attendance and minutes, and your editor should take photos. Additionally, split up the task amongst your officers. If you're doing a presentation, have each officer talk for about 1 or 2 slides. Meetings should also have a balance of both business and fun. Business would include going over upcoming events, information such as Key Club 101, or having a guest speaker. Fun would consist of activities where members interact with one another. Examples of this would include doing icebreakers or a service project. Though whatever your meeting is about, it should have a concrete reason for why members should attend. This will allow members to be more interested in attending your meetings and create a clear and concise reason for why they should make an effort to attend.
Here's an example of an agenda for a meeting. Your agenda doesn't have to be super fancy each meeting, but we'd recommend to always at least have a plan written down somewhere. When you come to your meeting prepared, things are more likely to go smoothly and stay organized.
Our next tip is to build relationships with your members. A simple way of doing this is through handing out birthday cards. When you're collecting member information, ask each member for their birthday. Then at each meeting, hand out a birthday card to each member that recently had a birthday. You can also build relationships with your members through reaching out to members and talking to them at service events or divisional events, as well as planning social activities. Another idea is to create a membership engagement committee that specializes in social media and keeping members engaged. Members enjoy feeling welcomed. To make sure that you're making every effort to ensure the members feel like they are part of your club and are comfortable at meetings and events.
Here we have a quote from a president in Division 18. Members tend to lose interest as time passes. Our club addressed this by showing appreciation for our volunteers. We took pictures of them volunteering and recognized them during the next meeting and posted them on social media. This visibly increased the number of volunteers. This is a great example of how to take action and keep members engaged. Even something as simple as posting a "Thank you volunteers" post on social media can make a big difference. Volunteers will be excited to see themselves represented on the club's social media.
On the screen, we have a few examples of effective membership recruitment and retention stories. The first 2 quotes relate to membership recruitment, stating, "We made sure to really promote upon prospective 8th graders the values of our club and the experiences and opportunities that we offered." And you'll need to attend any back-to-school events and orientations. That is where you'll find curious students and family members. That is the best time to promote the club. The last quote relates to membership retention, stating, "We also felt as if our meetings were very informative every single week, which can lead to boredom in our members. We started incorporating games like trivia, Kahoots, and get to know you icebreakers." These are true stories of effective membership growth and retention. So I encourage you to keep in mind the information from these tips and think about how you can implement these tips in your clubs.
For those of you who do not know, we are currently holding 3 days for membership raise as a part of our membership campaign. Tomorrow will be Community Outreach Thursday. We want you and your club to go to or host a service event and invite non-key clubbers to serve with you. It can be as simple as making cards for your local children's hospital or picking up trash at a nearby park. Our hope is that they will be inspired by your passion to join Key Club. Next, Friday will be Personal Invite Friday, where we want you to pass out personal invitations around your school to promote your club.
Many of the resources that we discuss are in the Membership Growth and Retention Toolkits. This toolkit includes club membership goals, personal invite templates, a guidebook with tips and tricks, and promotional flyers. To access this toolkit, go to www.pnwkeyclub.org, hold your mouse over the tab Resources, and then click on Membership Growth Toolkits.
Lastly, I'd like to share one more quote. Because of our dedication to excel as a club and greater knowledge learned from last year's decon, our club grew like we never expected. I believe if any club is willing to pursue membership growth and will do anything to passionately promote their club, they will successfully see their club grow. This was said by President Graciela Flores from Division 1936. This quote really resonated with me because it's something I truly believe in. The very first step to your club's success is having passion and pride for Key Club. Without the drive to do something that you love, you won't get very far. If you haven't yet, find your passion and let it do its magic.
We will now be moving on to our open floor questions and answers session. This is a great opportunity to ask any questions that you may have about membership growth or retention. To ask a question, please add it to the chat section below.
All right, so it looks like we have our first question from Annie. How should officers go about retaining members who seem uninterested about the club? Ingrid, would you like to take that one?
Yeah. So Annie's question was, how should officers go about retaining members who seem uninterested about the club? So I really think this question leads back to our point that we were talking about earlier. So one of the things that we were talking about is one thing you could do is potentially send out a Google form or a survey to members asking about why, what they would like to see in service projects and what they would like to see on meetings. I personally think that this would be the most effective because then you're really able to see why your members are uninterested and how you can make them interested in the future.
And also to add on to that, a great way to get people involved right away is to have food at your meetings and advertise that you have pizza or cookies or something, because a lot of the times people will come because of the food and then they'll see that they really enjoy the club. So I have another question. How do you get members more passionate about events and the service aspect rather than the social aspect?
Kyoko, do you want to start with this?
Sure. So what I would say is try to create an environment in the club where the service is the main component that's driving things. And service is a lot of fun too. So when you go to service events with your friends too, they can be fun. So maybe you can kind of try to help them see that it can be both at the same time.
Yeah,
And
oh, sorry.
no, you can go ahead.
But adding on to what Kyoko said, I think one thing to also think about is the service projects that you're offering. So if you're offering the same service projects every single month, or maybe the same one like on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis, then that's not a good way to keep members interested, because there's nothing that they can really get out of it if it's the same event. But if you're looking at service events that they could possibly do that would be very fun and interactive, then that would actually help increase it. So one thing you could look at, for example, is helping at a marathon. That would be something that counts as service, but it's also something that a lot of members enjoy because they're able to interact with one another.
The next question, do you have any suggestions for small service projects we could fit into our 30-minute club meetings? I will start with that one. A really basic one that I know a lot of people do is making cards that you can donate to the Children's Hospital. And also recently I did this at one of my DCMs. You can have people bring in shirts and cut them into reusable bags, and a lot of the times your local food bank will take them and use them for distributing food.
Yeah, one service project that I saw at a club visit during my term as lieutenant governor is a club made care packages for a local homeless shelter. What they did is they had different sponsors from the community donate items such as shampoo, toothpaste, and toothbrushes, and then from that they created care packages.
How do we check the membership goal for our club? So this is you can find your membership goal in the Membership Growth and Retention Toolkit, which is on the Pacific Northwest Key Club website. In the tab, hold your mouse over the tab Resources, and then you can click on the Membership Growth Toolkit. And if you go in there, there will be a folder called Membership Goals, and you can click on it and then scroll down to your division, and you'll be able to find your club, and your goal will be listed there as well. So how can I find more community service opportunities for my club?
So what I would say for that is there's a few ways that you can get community service opportunities. One would be through your school, and the other one would be through your community, and then the last one would be through your Kiwanis Club. So I'll start with the first one, which would be your school. So I had one school in my division, actually River Ridge Key Club, that helped clean up their campus on a weekly basis, and through that they were able to do a fundraiser. So that could be something that you could look for at the school level. As for your Kiwanis Club, you could reach out to your Kiwanis advisor and see if they have any opportunities that your club could help with. And then the last one would be your community. So this would be an opportunity where you could look out for community events that are happening, maybe a food bank, a homeless shelter, etc. What I personally like to do is actually just search service opportunities in whatever town you live in, and then you can find a whole list of them that come up.
And one of the things I did is I reached out to people. So I emailed my local food bank, and I just asked them if they needed any help with anything, or if they need like a big group to volunteer with. And then a lot of the time you have reply, and hopefully you can find a service event through that. One of our main issues is convincing people to pay dues. We are worried that some people will leave after hearing about them. How do we keep people in the club after announcing them?
I would say definitely for this, you definitely need to explain why they're paying dues. So if you're just charging them money and telling them that it costs money to be in your club, but then you're not explaining where dues go back to, then that can cause a lot of miscommunication, which could be the reason why you're having this issue. So I would definitely look at maybe putting up on the slideshow or however you present your dues, talk about where the money goes on the district as well as on the international level.
Next question is, what are some of the best icebreakers to do with a larger club? So I have a good recommendation for this one. I'm pretty sure most people have heard of this one, but you sit in a circle with chairs, and it's called I Have Friends Who, and someone stands in the middle, and they say something like, I have friends who are wearing black jeans, and then everyone with black jeans will get up and try to find a new spot in the circle, and the person in the middle will try to take that spot. And then basically someone new ends up in the middle, and they just keep on rotating, and it's a lot of fun. And I did one of my clubs recently at one of the club visits I went to did that, and it was with a really big group, and it was actually went really well and it was really fun. So I would recommend that.
Another icebreaker that I really enjoy is, and actually my club did it a few times, is human tic-tac-toe. So basically what that is you set up chairs in the form of tic-tac-toe, so it'd be 3 by 3, and then you split your club into 2 groups. So you have your X's and then you have your O's. And then the object of the game is you need to remember who's in your group, so you need to know people's names, because they're not allowed to talk to each other. So you need to figure out on your own, like who's an X and who's an O, and then figure out strategy to win as well.
How can we increase the number of members that attend service events as well?
Yeah, so I think definitely going back to that, so Key Club at its basis is a service club. So that's definitely one thing to remember when you're promoting Key Club, is a Key Club at its basis is a service club. So how I would increase the amount of members going to service projects is to, one, check and see what time of the day works the best for members to attend service projects. So typically holding a service project from like 3 to 5 or right after your school gets out of school probably would not be the most effective, just because then a lot of members have sports or other activities that they're doing. But if you hold maybe a service project in the afternoon or later in the evening from like 7 to 8 or 7 to 9, that might be more effective to have members come. Another thing you could look at as well is having like service projects on Saturday, maybe in the morning or the afternoon, whatever works the best for your members.
Someone did ask earlier, will this PowerPoint be available to us to view later? The YouTube live should save on YouTube automatically, so you guys will be able to look over that after this live has ended. Next question, what are easy fundraiser ideas? One thing that my home club had a lot of success with is bake sales at a local farmer's market, and that went really well.
Yeah,
Ingrid,
definitely.
anything you'd like to add?
I think it kind of depends on what you're looking to fundraise for. So I'm not sure if you're looking to fundraise for your club or for like the district project or possibly for decon. But typically what my club does is we actually pair up with our Kiwanis Club, our sponsoring Kiwanis Club, to do most of our club fundraising. And then for district project fundraising, we do that through our community. So we focus a lot more on community outreach for district project, but then for our own individual club and for decon, we focus a lot on working with our Kiwanis family. So just a few examples of what we do. Our Kiwanis Club actually has like a garden. So we help harvest pumpkins there, and then we, from volunteering, then we also sell the pumpkins as well to different faculty members at our school as well as students. So that's one idea you could look at. We also do restaurant takeovers. So we personally help at Applebee's, and we host a breakfast there, and we invite our Kiwanis Club to come and attend. And that's typically very effective for us.
The next question is, how would you recommend I get club members to not just attend club meetings, but actually show up to divisional events? So I feel like with divisional events like DCMs or district events, once a member has experienced that, they know how much fun it is and how much you gain from it. So I feel like once they just go one time, they will go again, if that makes sense. And I think it's great to advertise that it'll help them see Key Club in a bigger perspective and see Key Club as a international organization and not just by the club level.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to what Kyoko said. So you kind of need to ignite the spark in them to attend DCMs. So definitely the first DCM might be slightly harder to get members to attend just because they're not super familiar with the concept of a DCM. But once you have them attend one DCM, I feel like having them attend future DCMs is really easy. So one thing you could look about doing is maybe you have a DCM in September or October, so starting from your first meeting, try to promote it as much as possible, and see if you can get maybe 10 members to attend. And then at your next DCM, try to get 15 members, and just try to increase it with each DCM that you have.
The next question is, what's the best way to delegate to people who share duties with me, like a vice president? So delegating work is something that we all struggle with. I know that is really hard to do, but I think what you should do is write down, make a list of what you need to get done, and think about the things that are kind of like busy work that other people could do. So for example, if I had to write an email to a bunch of people, I could have people like in the committee, for example, to help write it for me and send it out for me, if that makes sense. So things that you kind of just have to get done that someone else could do, you could have them do.
And I'm assuming since you said like a VP, you're probably club president. So I know definitely the position of club president can be very overwhelming and stressful at times. So one thing to consider is just because you're the president doesn't mean that you need to do everything. So as an example, a president, you might think that you need to prepare for every single meeting and create the agenda for every meeting, but that could be something that you could delegate to other officers. So, for example, maybe your vice president could help create a PowerPoint for the meeting, and maybe your secretary could help create icebreakers. I also would say it's the same thing in terms of service projects as well. So, as president, you don't need to be the only person looking for different service opportunities. You could also use your vice president to help you with that as well.
And when I served as club president, I had the officer board and the vice president just generate a lot of ideas, and that was one thing that I used them a lot for, just for discussion and getting the ideas flowing. So here's a good question. What are good events to do with your Kiwanians as a collaboration that both groups would enjoy?
So typically, like what my club does, so I already talked briefly about our Kiwanis Garden. So we have a Kiwanis Garden that's located in our community. We actually have a few of them. So that's something that my club does focus very heavily on, especially during the fall when they're harvesting a lot of their vegetables. Which all goes back to our food bank. So that could be one thing you could look at. Another thing you could look at as well is maybe different activities that your Kiwanis Club does. So I know one joint project that we do together is in Division 38, we have something called the Olympia Marathon. So that's a marathon that's held locally within our area. So we help with our Kiwanis Club with that as well. We also have something called Day of Champions as well that we do on the divisional level that we also help with our Kiwanis clubs.
And I think another idea for that is you could even just do like a little tea party or something to just to get to talk to Kiwanians. That would be really fun. Or a bingo night would also be good.
It looks like we have time for about one more question.
All right. So this is kind of a fun question. What kind of club bonding do you suggest that we can do?
So I think two things that you could look at doing, and these are just examples as well. So one thing you could do is a movie night with your club. So you could have popcorn. Maybe you could do it at your school. I know a lot of schools will let you use maybe their commons or their gym, or even their theater in the evenings. You could look at doing something like that on a Friday evening. And then the other idea that I have is this was actually something that my club did. So we did a karaoke night, where basically we just had members come to one of our officers' houses and we did karaoke as a group and then also had pizza together.
My home club a few years ago did an event at Laser Quest, and we got a group fee. So if you buy it as a big group, the price will go down, and that was a lot of fun. So, all right, this concludes our membership growth and retention webinar. Ingrid and I hope you are all able to gain some helpful tips and tricks for your club. And of course, if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to either of us. We are always here for you. If you'd like to contact me, you can email me at membership@pnwkeyclub.org. And if you'd like to contact Ingrid, you can email her at governor@pnwkeyclub.org. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We wish you the best of luck with your community outreach and personal invite days. Bye.
Bye.